Hi, എല്ലാവർക്കും പുതിയ ഒരു വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ടും സ്വാഗതം. My name is Ambli and here on this channel we discuss all kinds of horror movies, their reviews, and sometimes I also sit down and narrate horror short stories. Today I stepped out and watched Ajay Devgn's supernatural horror thriller. The movie's name is Shaitaan. If you've got the time, you can sit down with me and we will discuss the positive, negatives, and some absurdities of this movie. Let's go. Now, if you're looking for a spoiler free review as a horror movie enthusiast and someone who exclusively watches horror movies, I keep telling everyone I watch 2 horror movies every week for my mental health. So, if you want a spoiler free review, my one liner would be that this is a decent one time watch. Most of you would be able to expect what's coming, most of you will also predict the ending, and unfortunately for us, the thrill isn't in the supernatural. The thrill is in the action of this movie. So yeah, if you don't want spoilers, that's my review. You can go and watch it once, but that's it. Kuch khas nahi hai is movie mein. If you have no intentions of watching this movie, continue watching. Please stay here. We will discuss this movie at length. But if you have any plans of watching this at all, stop watching this video right now, because in the coming few minutes, I am going to completely spoil the movie for you. So, Shaitaan starts off with us being told that Ajay Devgn and his family are like super happy, super modern, and the best parents in the world. Jyothika and Ajay Devgn, they have 2 children. The older kid is a daughter. Her name is Janvi. The younger kid is a very tech savvy, audio tape mixing kind of kid. I loved him, loved his acting. His name is Dhruv. Now they are this really happy family, and they are currently out on a trip. And at a dhaba, they run into Madhavan's character, who joins them for tea at their table. And while that interaction is happening, he manages to slip a laddu to the kids, and like Madhavan wants, the girl eats it. And the moment she eats it, she kind of comes under his spell and suddenly gets this urge to obey every instruction that Madhavan's giving her. And she herself finds it strange, and at first she is trying to resist it, but she's not able to. And over the next hour or so, she completely becomes mesmerized and under his spell. So an hour later, they go to their farmhouse. Madhavan also turns up, and he says that he needs to charge his phone and he needs to spend a few minutes there to recharge his phone and probably have some tea. But then very soon it is revealed that he has no intention of leaving. He's going to stay the night, and he's not gonna just walk away. Through a lot of theatrical speeches and performances, it is established that Madhavan has placed a spell upon the daughter, Janvi, and he is there to take her with him. And he cannot just do that. He cannot just kidnap her and take her away. He's doing this black magic puja slash yajna. So the girl needs to go willingly, and the parents need to kanyadan her to him. Otherwise, the spells, whatever puja he is planning on doing, will not work. Obviously, the parents are like pissed. They are like, nah, we are not giving you our daughter, because why would any parent do that? And much confusion and chaos ensue, and there is a lot of drawn out sequences where he's giving her instruction after instruction, making her behave like a puppet. Like, bro, we understand that you've placed a spell on her. We know that she's obeying your commands like a puppet. And somehow the directors thought it necessary to do that like 100 times over to show us just how much under his control she is. That could have been cut short. It was unnecessary, in my opinion. Anyway, as the night progresses, there's a lot of physical fights happening between the parents and Madhavan. And at that point, the moment it was revealed that it was Vashikaran, I turned to Sharma and I was like, if it is Vashikaran, there is a textbook solution for Vashikaran. Vashikaran is basically a black magic spell where you make someone become mesmerized and obsessed with you such that they will follow and obey everything you tell them. Everything you tell them. Which means if you stop this spellcaster from telling you anything, it's null and void. And as someone with even an ounce of common sense would have done, any parent would have first up shoved something into Madhavan's mouth. If he can't talk, he's not giving any more instructions. If he's not giving you any more instructions, you can't be his puppet. But maybe in the stress of the situation, the parents don't think of that move. They try to stop the girl instead of taking down Madhavan, which again leads to much more confusion. The girl gets hurt, and under Madhavan's control, she manages to hurt everybody in the family, particularly the brother, the boy Dhruv. He is grievously injured. He's just pushed off from the roof, giving him some near fatal injuries. And at this point, the parents are, under this dilemma. Should they stay and fight, in which case there is a chance that they lose both their kids, or should they kanyadan their daughter, which would give them a shot at saving their son? And at that point, they think it is sensible to, save the son at least, because there's a shot there. So they say the words, the whatever statement that Madhavan asks them to repeat, thus giving the girl away in a happy kanyadan. But unbeknownst to Madhavan, Ajay Devgn had managed to turn on live location sharing from Madhavan's phone, and he is now tracking Madhavan. And Jyothika takes the son Dhruv to the hospital, while Madhavan decides to while Ajay Devgn decides to chase Madhavan through the forest. This is where again we are like super confused, because again we are shown really long drawn out scenes which could have been completely avoided. There is one scene where Ajay Devgn is chasing Madhavan on a bicycle, and then it cuts to Jyothika taking the son to the hospital. Devgn chasing Madhavan, Jyothika taking son to the hospital. This keeps happening for 20 minutes. Like, we get it. Jyothika is taking the son to the hospital, and Devgn is also chasing Madhavan. But I don't know, it was interspersed and alternating between it. I was like, okay, fine, we get it. Like, what next? But anyway, eventually, Devgn does manage to find the venue for this black magic puja. And it turns out that Madhavan had placed spells on 108 other girls who were also there at the hideout / venue for the puja. And they were all doing strange things under his spell. And his grand plan, was to conduct this puja on that night, which was some special lunar event, red moon or something like that. And if he sacrificed all 108 of those girls, he would apparently get the power to control the whole world. Now, how this puja happens is that there is this bowl full of effigies, dolls, the black magic voodoo dolls that you've seen. He sacrifices them one by one into this giant funeral pyre-like thing. There's this pit with fire burning inside, and he throws the dolls one by one into them. And as he does that, the girls get closer and closer, and finally, with the sacrifice of a red effigy / voodoo doll, all 108 girls would jump into the pyre, and then he would get the powers that he wanted. Devgan gets there just in the crux of time, as you would expect of any Bollywood movie. But it turns out that the girls had been given explicit instructions that if somebody tried to touch Madhavan, they would just attack them. At this point, I have to mention that Madhavan wore some of the worst makeup I have seen in my life. It looked like someone had taken 3 fingers, rubbed it through an eyeshadow palette, and drew it out like that. That's it. And the dressing was also like stereotypical black magic baba. Black clothes, oxidized silver jewelry, really weird eyeliner. And he was also talking with, the typical hand gestures and everything. They probably hadn't given much thought to it. It seemed very common. Kuch khas to nahi tha. Anyway, Devgan gets there, and he cuts off Madhavan's tongue just before he delivers the final red voodoo doll to the fire, thus stopping Madhavan from giving any instruction to the girls. And it gives him a window, but unfortunately that's when the other spell kicks in, the one where they were supposed to attack anybody who touches Madhavan. So all of them come for Ajay Devgn, and then we realize that, remember the tech-savvy kid who does audio mixes and stuff? He had recorded Madhavan's voice on this device, where he says that if you kanyadan your girl, I will set your daughter free. I set your daughter free. I will free her from the clutches of my spell, or something like that. Just that audio had been edited and recorded on a device that was now with Ajay Devgn. So he plays that audio out loud, and in doing so, he frees all the girls from their spell. Movie ends there. I mean, the story ends there. And then in like a later scene, like an end credit sort of scene, it is shown that a year later, Madhavan had been kept captive in Ajay Devgn's basement, which seems like a sensible decision. Ajay Devgn does not want this man out there in the world causing more damage. And yeah, he has obviously lost the ability to speak, and he's chained, and not the enigmatic manipulator that he once was. He's just now a slave. And Ajay Devgn gives this speech about how, no god in the world is as powerful as a mom that's pissed. I concur with him. Hell hath no fury like that of a woman's scorn. So yeah, that's about it for the movie. I mean, it's a great one-time watch, and like I said, the action scenes are really good, especially the scene where Jyothika is fighting Madhavan. That's stellar. All 3 lead characters, they're amazing performers, that goes without saying, and they did a stellar job. Madhavan was very convincing. I did want to get into the screen and probably hit him for the kind of things that he was doing. But aside of that, I guess it's not that great as a horror movie. It wasn't scary. It didn't thrill or excite me as much either. But great as a one-time watch. And yeah, the moment they mentioned Vashikaran, everyone I'm sure thought like, okay, then stop this guy from talking. If he can't talk, he can't give you any instructions. Yeah, anyway, that's about it for today's video. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.